I'm in the near $70,000 Lexus RX 500h. This is the first ever F-Sport performance for the RX, and therefore it's actually the most fun Lexus RX ever made. Let's get into it. You can't have F-Sport performance without a powertrain upgrade. We're taking a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that kind of replaces the old V6 that we saw in all previous generations of the RX, but this turbo 4-cylinder is connected to an electric motor up front, which is then connected to the 6-speed automatic transmission. This being a hybrid, of course, there needs to be a battery. There's a bipolar nickel metal hydride battery underneath the back seat, and that supplies the juice not only to the electric motor up front, but also to the electric motor in the rear, also known as an e-axle. This is the first ever direct 4 system from Lexus. Now we see it also in the Lexus RZ fully battery electric vehicle. I know it sounds pretty complex, but let's just break down the numbers. 366 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. Lexus claims 27 miles per gallon. When I babied this thing around town, I got up to 35, 36 miles per gallon. But if fuel efficiency is what you want, definitely get the 350h or the upcoming 450h plug-in hybrid. If you want to know acceleration, I'll cut to the 0 to 60. .62 to 60 and 5.94 to 100 kilometers per hour. We'll do another one here. It only lets you about torque brake it to 1800 RPM. I just wish it launched a little bit harder, 5.72 though. So there you have it, around 5.70 to 60, and go. It launched about exactly the same as it did with the torque brake. 5.64. So there you have it. It's virtually identical from torque braking or not, so there's no point of brake boosting this vehicle. It's going to put down the same power whether you do it or not. Copper Crest is this paint color. This is the first time we see it on a Lexus vehicle. It is now on the Lexus LC 500. Other markets see it in the RZ 450e battery electric vehicle. I love it, I adore it. The only way you can get it though is on the premium packages and above, so you won't be seeing this on lower spec Lexus RXs, for example. Rose gold penny, like shiny penny color. It is just absolutely stunning, and it has so much dynamic range. When the sun hits it, it just, yeah, brings a smile to my face. All right, so let's get into the exterior design of this F-Sport performance. Any F-Sport before this, including this, has a mesh pattern grille and a couple pieces on each side for aerodynamics. This 500h though also has these black boomerangs on each corner of the front bumper. We have beautiful redesigned daytime running lights, and of course this has the upgraded triple beam LED headlights. Now before we get to the wheel, we have the paint matched wheel arches, and we also have this aerodynamic piece that flows air around the wheel. This is the first RX ever with massive 21-inch wheels. We have upgraded 4-piston brakes up here on the front compared to the normal 2-piston brakes. With the beautiful F-Sport logo here. And typically on an F-Sport, this would be accented in white, and you can get an RX 350 F-Sport handling package that has the white background here. But the 500h F-Sport performance has the black accents as well. So we step back, we have blacked out mirrors, and then finally we have a dark black window chrome surround, and that's something that's been missing on a lot of Lexus vehicles. Well, should I say specifically the F-Sport models. We also have the blacked out roof rails here. If we look above, we have a blacked out roof because this has the panoramic roof package on it. I appreciate in the F-Sport performance we have these glossy window frames, and we have the glossy black two-tone going on the handles as well. Now the side profile of the RX is still growing on me for this 5th generation. I think the lines on the 4th generation were a little bit more clear cut, a little bit more smooth and cohesive. This big swoopy line reminds me of the Toyota Highlander in a lot of ways as well. And I forgot to highlight the spindle body grille. This is a little bit controversial as well. I know some of you guys don't like the paint matched up top, then getting into the black glossy grille. It almost looks half complete, some would say, but it doesn't bother me, to be honest. The side profile is a little bit strange, but that's about it. But as I walk around the RX, overall, it does feel like it's been on a strength training program. It looks very muscular and maybe not quite as chiseled as the old one, but definitely beefy and ready to go. As we get to the back here, this S-Performance has 4-wheel steering, so the rear wheels can rotate inwards and outwards in order to help rotate the vehicle. Either at low speed turns, it can reduce the turning radius, and then at high speed turns, it can help you corner a little bit better. Now on the back, we have a light bar. That is synonymous throughout the Lexus lineup nowadays. We also have the Lexus in font here, no longer the Lexus badge. Here's the RX 500H badge with the first ever Direct 4 implementation. And just like on the front, we have these black glossy mesh patterns that kind of fill in where the exhaust would be. Even though this is a high performance gas powered electrified vehicle, we have no indication on the back of exhaust points. And that's kind of where Lexus is headed, especially with the new Lexus NX that started the design. The exhaust ports are hard to find on a new Lexus because they plan to be fully electric here in the United States by 2030. Let's get into the cargo. Generous amounts of cargo space. I am happy with what I see here, to be honest. Nice F-Sport mat, and what is more impressive though, we have a full spare here and here. Maybe not full width, but full diameter. So we have a 21-inch sized wheel in here, which is crazy. Of course, there's your jack as well. This has the Marky Mark Levinson sound system here. Absolutely spend the extra money to get it if you care about high-end audio. It is one of the best systems I have ever heard. On this model, the power folding rear seats as well. A little tonneau cover action. You can fold like that and then push it back in with the retraction function. But let's go ahead and get in the back seat. These are actually not handles, even though we have smart handle access here. I can lock the car from back here. But there's a button on the inside of this handle that gently unlatches the door. And this is called the smart latch system. So you don't open up the door and hit a biker who's going next to you or hit a car that's coming up in your blind spot, for example. So you press this in to open the door once you're inside. If you don't want to do that, there's a mechanical override. You pull that twice and it opens up the door. High quality materials back here. Unfortunately, you don't have a sunshade on this FSP model. We have the nice Mark Levinson representation here, as well as the suede accent on the door panel. So let's get on the inside of the RX. This one has not only the panel roof, which you can enjoy immensely back here. I have to note though, here in South Florida, this brings a lot of heat into the cabin, and you do have to pump the AC quite hard to keep this car cool when you're in direct sun, even with the shade closed. It would have been nice for Lexus to include that dynamic sky sunroof that we see on the RZ that can cloud out the sky essentially, so you don't have all this sun and heat coming into the cabin. Standard back here, we have a couple of vents as well as USB-Cs. You're not going to see this in most models, to be honest, which is the heated and ventilated rear seats. So my kids have been traveling in here in the back seat. They find it comfortable. They haven't had really any complaints. Why would they in a $70,000 Lexus? They like using this to put their water bottles in. Nice soft back to these F-Sport seats here with a nice mat pocket on each end. In terms of shoulder room, I have lots of room back here, honestly, even with the sunroof. My head has a couple inches even over at the top of my hat. My legroom is immense as well, and this is set up for me at 6'1". So I would assume if you're 6'4", 6'5", you would still have plenty of at least legroom back here, but your head at that point might be getting close to the roof. Press this button to open the door. Getting on the inside of the new RX FSP. Pretty solid door slams, not only on the front, but we had it on the back as well. Duplication of the door materials, which I don't mind. However, this black does collect fuzz, so your Mark Levinson is going to have some accents to go with it over time. But you know what I noticed is that when I rest my arm down and I have the window down, is that my hand naturally falls on this felt, which is nice to kind of pet. It's a weird, sick thing, but I enjoy petting the car when the windows are down. We have memory seats here, no surprise. We do have a lot of glossy black plastic, unfortunately, around the vents here, but these vents do work really well. Look how much, just look how massive that is, how much air it's able to push through the driver, so I appreciate that. A large 14-inch optional screen, which has the newest Lexus interface software in here. I'm operating Android Auto wirelessly right now. Well, technically it's wired because it's charging through my USB cable. Underneath here is also a wireless charger, but wires work a lot better for me and my phones. You also have a 12-volt adapter here and another USB-C down there and two more up here. So you have 6 USB-Cs in here, and I like the fact that we can just hide the phone away to make it a nice experience in here. The cup holder, I can press down and also push up with this button. I love that feature. They carried it over from the old RX. The shifter in here has been downgraded. It is tiny, and this is the same sort of shifter we see, let's say in the Lexus RZ, as well as the new NX as well. And this is all black glossy plastic. You just see the dust collecting down here. Luckily, it's not too much, and I do like this aluminum trim in here. I do wish, though, it was carbon fiber. At least we had some carbon fiber here in this F Sport Performance. Unfortunately, Lexus keeps the carbon fiber for the full-blown F models, or let's say the luxury models like the LC. We do have a digital rear view mirror up here. It works really, really well, and that reminds me, we do have a 360 camera on this model as well. Pretty high resolution. I can see those people way back there walking behind me. I like that top-down feature as well. And of course, you have all your parking sensors to assist you along the way. Now, what I liked with the digital view mirror, I had it tilted down so I could see my kids in the back, and then I could just flip that and I could see out of the back. So it's a dual function here, and something we're probably going to see throughout the industry going forward. Now, we have heated and ventilated seats up here, heated steering wheel. Everything is done through the screen. We have a nice resistance and rubber texture here to these knobs, and the volume knob, although small, has a really solid resistance to it. It feels great. Here's your shortcut to the 360 camera. It does have an advanced park feature, which I'm never going to use. But let's get back to the materials on the dash here. We have that aluminum trim that is exclusive to the F Sports here that bisects the front dash here. And we also have that continuation of the suede all the way back here, which most people are never going to look at the stitching and the suede back here. So I do like that attention to detail. Soft touch materials all the way around. And this is where the ambient lighting is as well, which you guys probably saw in my 0 to 60s. F Sport also means aluminum pedals, but it means a upgraded steering wheel with these nice dimples on here, a little F Sport Performance. Notice the F logo is blacked out here. If you get a normal F Sport, this will have a white background. And no surprise, we have paddle shifters equipped on here, which I haven't used once. We'll play with them today in the drive. These little lights looking at us are the driver attention software in here that is making sure you're paying attention when you have traffic jam assist enabled. For example, this has Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0. Behind the steering wheel is a 7-inch MID, which is unfortunate because so many Toyotas at this point have a 12-inch fully digital MID. Even in Europe, some Corollas have a larger digital MID than this, so it's just unacceptable to me. But the good news is I'm rarely looking down here because this is equipped with a head-up display, and it is amazing. It is customizable. Not only that, you can customize the buttons on the steering wheel. And so what I've done is I turned this button into sport mode, and I turned this button into normal mode because there are no more dedicated buttons like the old RX for sport mode. So I've customized it here on the steering wheel, and it's worked great. Now, once you have Android Auto up, the best way to interact with the car, though, is through this quick menu, and then you can turn on certain features like sport mode if you don't have them customized to the steering wheel. You can turn on the power outlet setting, up to 1500 watts of household power. You can turn on and off the head-up display, and this is where a few features I turn off. So I turn off proactive driving assist because the car will start braking for you and turning for you when you don't want it to. I also go to the settings for traffic jam assist, and I turn driver monitor recording off because these will let you know if you're not looking where it wants you to. It'll beep every time I show a notification on the screen that your eyes aren't where the car wants them to be. The inbuilt navigation takes up more of the full screen, which is great, but I pretty much always use Android Auto if I can help it. So I put it into sport mode, which immediately fires on the engine, and it's not that fast by any means. You guys saw the 0 to 60, it's quick for a Lexus RX for sure, the fastest ever. It brings a smile to my face because I actually have gears to row through. It has a 6-speed auto, and that's unlike any other Toyota or Lexus hybrid system that's not in the pickup trucks at this point anyways. All of those have an eCVT setup, a planetary gear system that's continuously variable. But this with the fixed 6 gears is a lot of fun to play with, and man, is it beautiful out here. Oh, I can see the beach. Oh, and that's the thing, driver and attention active. So it's letting me know I'm not looking at the road. It's very annoying. Make sure to disable that feature. We're gonna turn here and give it a little bit of gusto because we have the upgraded suspension on here. Pedal down, and it takes a slight bit for the transmission to shift, but it's one of the most responsive Lexus transmissions I've driven. I like this 6-speed auto, and I'm just gonna put it back into normal mode. I like this 6-speed auto more than probably most of the 8-speed autos in the Lexus lineup. And it gives me satisfaction that it's still in the Lexus IS, for example, the IS 350 all-wheel drive, the 6-speed auto, that's very satisfying, it's very quick, it picks the gears without hesitation, and I get that here on the RX 500h. And it doesn't betray its identity, even though they put a lot of sport in here, still has a soft ride overall, even in sport mode. Even has massive 21-inch wheels, but it still handles the bumps in the roads well. Like, the ride quality in here is an A+. The sound suppression is really good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's quite as quiet as the model I had last week, which is a competitor to this, which is the GV70. But the GV70 that I tested was fully electric, and it had sound suppression technology in the Prestige grade that I tested. Gosh, I'm not even in sport mode anymore. And it really just takes off, especially from a stop. It's there's a nice LC. Oof, beautiful. And with the electric motors and this turbocharged engine, you just have available torque pretty much all the time. And this thing doesn't rev that high, it doesn't need to. It just has plenty of power and torque throughout the rev range here. So we have an E-axle in the back, and we've had electric motors on all-wheel drive Toyota hybrids and Lexus hybrids before, but this thing is another beast. It's much more substantial. It has up to 124 pound-feet of torque, I believe, just from that rear motor. So when you get into the gas, that rear motor starts pushing you ahead before you get like the 300 plus horsepower from the hybrid setup up front powering the front wheels. And even though this has a good amount of electrification, more so than, let's say, the standard hybrids, it still doesn't give me that satisfaction that I want from the RX 450h plug-in hybrid that I drove. It's still not available here in America at the time of this recording in early 2023, and we still don't know when it's coming. You can get the NX plug-in hybrid, which is, you know, in F-Sport trim, is actually more fun to drive than this. And this first ever F-Sport performance can do a few things for the Lexus brand. Now it has a crossover that actually is fun to drive, so it can, you know, maybe poach some customers who are interested in performance from the Germans, for example. But also it should keep Lexus faithful within the brand who want performance, and they don't have to leave, for example, to go to a German brand or something like that. For me though, even though this does bring a smile to my face when I put the pedal down, I still prefer driving the Lexus 350h. I just get more enjoyment actually out of it when I'm eking out the miles per gallon. Seeing it consistently get over 40 miles per gallon was just amazing in the 350h. And it's no slouch either, don't get me wrong, it's not fast. 0 to 60 is probably like 7.5 seconds, somewhere around there, but it's not that far off of this. And you know, it does come in at a nicer price point. You can get those for the mid to low 50s if you don't option them out to the moon and back. Once you get past $60,000 on a 350h, in my opinion, you might as well go for this and get the extra performance, and you can still get really good fuel economy if you don't have a heavy foot in here. But I'll see you guys in the comments below. Do you think Lexus did enough with the RX 500h S Sport performance? You know, I would have actually liked this to also have been a plug-in hybrid as well. Yes, it would have added to the weight, but we would have got a lot more acceleration from this model. Make sure you're subscribed to hit the bell icon, because Lexus is coming out with 2 new models this year. We have a brand new redesigned GX, and we should also have a brand new model known as the TX, which, think of it as a 3-row RX, and you're gonna have a plug-in hybrid of that, something I've been wanting for on here, and you're also gonna have F-Sport models on there as well that fits 3 rows of family members. So can't wait for that vehicle. I'll bring it to you guys here on the channel, but signing out from the beloved RX. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. We got some open road here though, so I'll send you guys out on this. And that's the thing, what's the point of putting it in sport mode when you always have this much power and torque? But you know, red lights, so drive responsibly. See you guys later.